Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech,
And this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva.
and welcome back to the Snob OS Show, the show for Apple snobs, where we talk all things Apple and then some. We want to thank you back. This is episode 132, so we want to thank you for tuning in and listening this far. And without further ado, we're going to get right in to the show. Our first segment is the lowdown, where we talk all things Apple. And it wasn't too much going on in Apple news, but I guess there was the thing where Apple has decided to launch a MagSafe battery pack that actually snaps on to the back of an iPhone 12, iPhone 12 mini, and iPhone 12 Pro slash Pro Max. And basically what it is you think of those tiny external batteries that you can connect via Lightning or connect via micro USB into an iPhone or an Android to get a longer lasting battery and like a small, maybe wallet credit card sized. I think of a deck of cards in a box. That's about the size of most of your external batteries. Well, Apple has launched a MagSafe battery pack that doesn't have any sort of cables, doesn't connect to your phone via the lightning port. It snaps onto the back of the MagSafe magnet in the back of your iPhone 12. This is not for iPhone 11, 10, any of those, because it has to have that MagSafe magnet. But if it does, Apple quietly announced this battery pack. I think does it come in different colors? I only seen it in the
It's just the
white.
way.
Yeah, just the white color, and it is for $99. One of the things that I hope to see that we didn't see in the iPhone 12, that I'm hoping in the iPhone 13 or whatever they call it, that this MagSafe battery has, I don't know, alluded to, is to finally be able to use my phone to charge up my Apple Watch by laying it on the back,
Mm,
or specifically my AirPods
hmm
case if you have a wireless AirPods case. So I'm hoping this MagSafe battery pack again alludes to additional functionality in the iPhone 13, that in addition to being able to snap this battery pack onto the back, being able to use the iPhone itself to actually charge up, like I said, smaller Apple accessories like a watch or AirPods, wireless AirPods case.
Yeah, and it looks like compared to the size, it's the same size regardless of, which phone you use.
Mm-hmm.
And for the smaller phones, it pretty much takes up the full back minus, the camera
Mm-hmm.
area. And on the
Mm-hmm.
larger ones, you have a little bit more space. I can't really tell the dimensions of the thickness, but I don't know if the intent is to not use the phone while you have this on there or what,
Well, I
or
guess you
because
could use it to talk. I don't see it being, but like I said, it looks like the size of a deck of cards.
yeah, but I'm trying to figure out the thickness. It doesn't look too thick. And the other thing is, especially with the pros, we don't have a whole lot of colors. So you could at least give us a little bit of variation
Right, right.
on the colors other than just the white. I get it, it's the Apple aesthetic, but in the max range, um, well, in the Pro range, we only have the what, three or four colors. So
Right, right.
it could have gave us an option for a little bit of mix. To, because looking at some of the colors in the article, it they have it snapped to like the purple phone, and it
Right.
stands out a lot.
Yeah, it does. Well, maybe they were assuming that people were going to use a case. Speaking of which, I'm reading this from Mac Rumors website, and according to them, if you use like a leather case specifically, the MagSafe battery, that strong connection between the phone and the charger and the
Mm.
battery pack, is going to leave an imprint on your leather case. So for
Oh,
if you use it for long periods of time. So if you're just
yeah.
using it for 10 or 20 minutes, but if you like constantly got this thing on the back of your case, it will show an imprint. So just a couple
Which
other,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Just reading a couple other features. Your phone might get slightly warm when it charges. So the software that's built into either your phone or the battery pack it may limit charging above 80%. So once it gets to 80%, to stop it from overheating, either the battery pack or your phone will say, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
Charging, let me see. Charge benefit feature helps maintain battery health while MagSafe battery pack is connected to power for prolonged periods of time. And with the optimized battery charging turned on, users will see a notification on the lock screen letting them know when the phone is fully charged. Tapping on the notification and choosing charge now will force a charge. So I don't know if the smarts are in the battery pack or if it actually is in the phone, but the fact that it does have optimized battery charging, Apple has kind of said, okay, well, we want to make sure that we're not overcharging your devices. So that's pretty cool. Finally, like I mentioned, it's the battery pack is $99 and will be delivering to customers on July 19th. Yep. So I don't know. I
Mm.
really don't use, again, I don't go anywhere. So I'm not too far from a charger at all times. This probably could have came in handy when I was on the beach, but even then I wasn't using my phone like that. So I never, towards the end of the day, needed to worry about a battery pack because nowadays Apple devices are pretty good on the battery. But for those people who are out and about all day long, think of students, you think of people who are going back to work, this may be something definitely useful for them.
Yeah, because the battery actually surprisingly, holds pretty well. I know when, I was out and about, um, I had like a external, battery pack you just plug in, and I didn't really need to use it that often. So I mean, I guess it has its uses. I don't think it's very useful for me.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, once events get back into full swing, I think people who go to those Comic Con,
Hmm.
whatever type thing, if you're out all day long, that sort of thing, and eventually people get
Yeah,
back to work. I can see people being on the go.
yeah.
All right, so that is it for that. The next story, it looks like Apple is jumping into the buy now, pay later game for users, whether or not you're actually buying an Apple product. So that was I couldn't understand why this was
What
news.
was the difference? Right.
Right. Because for the longest, we've been able to do Apple installment plans before the Apple Card. And with
Right.
the Apple Card came out, they announced that you could do Apple installment plans. But the difference is with this new product that Apple is rolling out, they will put users on a monthly payment plan similar to Apple Card monthly installments, which allow customers to pay off a purchase over a 24-month period. The new service will let Apple Pay users pay off purchases by way of monthly financing. Users being able to choose between paying for purchases across 4 interest-free payments made every 2 weeks or across several months with interest. This story that I'm reading in Bloomberg. Additionally, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be for Apple products. The other installment plans, you had to buy Macs, iPhones, whatever the case may be. With this installment plan, doesn't necessarily have to be an Apple product at all.
And it's not tied to the Apple Card like
Right. It's
the
just
current services.
a Apple installment plan. I think they are teaming up with Goldman Sachs because
Hmm.
Apple is not a bank. So they have partnered with Goldman Sachs. These are the same people who issue the Apple Card, and they will be doing the installments. So again, another benefit I don't know if it's a benefit or not. The benefit of doing the Apple installment plan and the benefit of doing the Apple Card payment plan is there's no interest. It's
Hmm.
just 24 months.
Yeah.
With this, if you either choose the 4 installment plans, which are interest free, but if you don't stretch it out farther than that, there's
Then you get a
financing.
fee.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
finance. So again, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The everybody side of me says it gives more people options. The
Right.
fiscally responsive one says leave the credit card debt alone. But again, if there's something out there that you want or something out there that you think you need, and you may not have the upfront pricing to do it, or you won't be able to cover it in those 4 installments, then I ain't gonna watch your pockets if you want to take out
And
interest.
holiday time is coming up.
Right. And yeah,
So
exactly. And holiday
I
time is
think they're
going
probably
on.
rolling this out just in time for Black Friday. Christmas time, that type of deal.
Right.
So
Yeah. So yeah, you make a good point because the story doesn't mention when, but you can guess it'll be out when people want to use the money, which is around Christmas time or holiday
right,
shopping in general.
right.
All right. All right. So that is it for that story. I'll, that new keep mentioning about the we're waiting on the 16-inch M1X or M2 MacBook Pro. I'll probably stick to my Apple Card financing. So
Hmm.
if I did do something like that and decided wanted to stretch it out, again, I'm not messing with that interest. So I'll stick with
Right. Put it
what.
on the Apple Card if
Right.
you're gonna do it that way. If you need to, if you want to.
Right,
That's the
right,
best right
right.
route.
But again, like I said, if they now you have the option,
Yeah.
if you want to go through Apple. All right. So the last one is iPhone users. Twitter for iOS now lets users change who can reply to your tweets even after you actually send out the tweet. So basically, the way this works is Twitter for iOS, when you're drafting a message, you can choose who can reply. Anybody, people you follow, or completely turned off. Then you actually send a tweet. But now this new feature for Twitter iOS, after you sent the tweet, you can actually go back and change who can reply to this conversation. So if you send some hot take, fire off some hot take, and it doesn't get the response that you thought it was going to get,
Or
which
it gets the response you didn't think, and your mentions are dumpster fire
right, which is not uncommon at all
at all.
with Twitter. You can actually, after the fact, posthumously go back in and change who can reply. Just people anybody on Twitter, or again, like a man, you can turn off the replies altogether. So I think Twitter is trying to, stay relevant. They're trying to stay that source where everybody goes to actually get stuff
Get
first,
news.
and then from there it disseminates to Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and the regular news, right? So they're trying to make sure, they stay relevant with completely, making sure they add, these new features. Again, we will never know if they will actually let people edit tweets. I'm on the fence. I could see letting you edit tweets for grammatical errors,
Yeah.
making sure.
But not completely changing it
Right,
if
right.
your hot take is not well received, and then you
Exactly.
go and change it, and it's like, I didn't say that, bro.
Right.
Yes, you did. Because right
Right.
now people do screenshots and get receipts,
Right.
so that's really gonna mess up the receipt game.
But there have been many tweets where I fired off and be like, man, I thought I proofread it. Then as soon as I sent it off,
Dang,
I missed a comma, I missed an apostrophe, I missed the parentheses, I missed the
did the wrong
quote.
there.
Right, exactly. I did the wrong I did the wrong it's,
Yeah.
and people are, for whatever reason, they are looking for that type of stuff. I was just reading a tweet today where somebody was typing something, and they used a word. I can't even think of the word, but when you read it, you know what the person
You know what
meant.
they're saying.
You know exactly what they meant. They just used the wrong word, but it was even close. I can't even remember. I had to go back and look for it. But anyway, my point was, you knew what she was trying to say, but somebody in the
The
replies,
grammar
the
police.
word you was looking for is. I'm like, is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing?
People are always looking for that gotcha moment. And I'm just like, just enjoy the tweet and
right,
keep scrolling. Nobody asked you to be the third grade grammar police.
right,
Chill.
right. Or disagree with the tweet. Don't disagree. Don't disagree because it's worded not to perfection.
Right.
So
Yeah.
all that to say, Twitter is definitely trying to make sure they remain that source where everybody gets and disseminates and learns their information. So something like this makes sense. Like I said, especially for everybody that's got an opinion, you send out
Hmm.
that hot take. You may not want your phone blowing up with all those notifications, so you can.
Or in the current climate, I don't know if you watched the Euro Cup and when those black players missed
Yeah,
it,
right.
just in their mentions, just being racist pieces of you know
Go,
what. And I'm just like, bro, are you that, do you lack that level of creativity that the only thing you come up with is monkeys and bananas?
yeah.
I'm like, bro. So that makes sense in that respect. And I think that's probably what they're going for, is to reduce the amount that people get harassed on the app. um, because people will dox you, people will, try and put, just stupid stuff in the comments. So I think it's probably more along the lines of trying to keep people safe and not just have racist people,
Or just
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 out there.
people. I mean, just Twitter is, every once in a while
Dumpster fire.
I try to force myself to get back in the habit of tweeting and retweeting and commenting regularly. And I even find myself falling into the, and I was always catch myself as like, okay, delete that tweet
Dial it
because
back
that does
before you
not
press in.
that does
Wait a minute.
not advance the conversation at all. It's just me being mad at somebody else being mad at something else. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Not helpful.
That's not how I want to spend my time.
And also, I don't know if you saw it that August 2nd, I think, Jack tweeted that their fleets is going bye-bye August 2nd, I
Oh
think.
yeah, I think I did read that as well. What well, so this should be an indication. What are fleets again? What were they?
It's Twitter's versions of IG stories.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I
The
don't think
little things at the very
at
top
the
of the
very
screen.
top. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm interested to see if they're getting rid of fleets. They use that same interface when people do Twitter Spaces. So I don't know if they're going to keep that bar up there for like
Right.
Twitter Spaces, or is it going to be like a redesign on how that works? So that'll be interesting to see, because if you go into a space, you can still keep the audio going where you can listen in or talk, and you can still kind of scroll the timeline. So it'll be interesting to see how they still manage the spaces, because spaces seems to be very popular.
Is it? I was just gonna ask. I haven't heard anybody mention about talk about Clubhouse nearly as much as they did. Winter of last year. Is that still a thing?
So Clubhouse is still a thing. It's not as popular, I don't think, or I think people may have repurposed what they use it for.
Okay.
But I've been in a couple. I rarely go on Clubhouse. It's just a lot, especially with the advent of Spaces. Because to me, I enjoyed Spaces more because I could still be in Twitter, listen to what's going on, pop in and pop out as I want, but still able to kind of scroll, the timeline. So I enjoy it, and it seems to always be somebody doing a Spaces on my
Oh,
timeline
really?
whenever
Okay.
I'm in there. So from my point of view, people are using it, and it seems to be, pretty active. So, but that's just mine. I don't know what everybody else's experience is, but mine is it seems to get used a lot.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, like I said, we'll maybe, like I said, if I can figure out, maybe I have to prune my timeline of the people I follow because I tend to follow people that everybody has this hot. I don't want to call it a hot take. It's almost like a somebody mentions something and then they go into a thread as to why this is harmful or why this is. It's like everything's not that deep.
Just
The
enjoy the
person,
timeline for the timeline. It doesn't have to be everything doesn't have to be a think piece.
yeah,
Everything doesn't have
and
to
that's who I.
change the world, but I think that's what people now are getting their quote unquote clout from is, debunking things or getting their version on it and being super deep, and it's just like I just come to Twitter sometimes just to laugh.
Right,
And I want to
right.
see those funny things. I don't know if you've seen the trend on TikTok with the kids rating their mom's shoes or whatever. So
No, I
that's
haven't
made it
seen
onto
this.
Twitter. Hilarious. It's to
Okay.
want to see aerosol songs, and it's like teenage kids going through their parents' closets, taking out the shoes. And I think, they name them like funny things like speak to your manager
Yeah,
44,
right,
that
right,
kind of thing. So
right.
it's really fun. So that type of stuff, I'm like, that's what I'm into Twitter for now. Of course, the the serious stuff is always helpful because I mean that's pretty much where I get my news from, because the regular news outlets
Well, if it's
are
a,
a
if
lot.
it's a serious subject, right? Of course,
Yeah,
you expect dialogue, you expect disagreements, you expect critique, you expect all those
right.
things, but not if I'm tweeting about, hey, yo, I'm looking forward to these baked beans on this happy hour, and here comes somebody. Well, actually, happy hours. If you go back to the original, it's like, man, No.
You're not gonna, the money you're spending on happy hour, you can invest that
Right.
and start
Start
you
an
an
LLC.
LLC.
Right. Shut up. Shut up. Don't nobody want
It's
to
like you
hear
get us in
how
trouble with
I'm
LLC Twitter. We don't
right.
want that.
I don't want to hear how I'm wasting money on baked beans at a happy hour.
Right.
Shut up.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, all right. So that is it for the lowdown. We'll move into our next segment, second string, where we talk all things tech. Queen again, slow tech news week, but I did see that Google is testing a feature that would allow users to actually crowdsource, for lack of a better term, photos from your friends. So if like you're using Google Photos and you're taking a bunch of pictures, for instance, I'll use a perfect example. We just went on a family vacation last week. Myself, my wife, my two older daughters all had phones, and we were snapping pictures of the beach, taking pictures of the trip, kind of doing the family snapping thing. Well, normally the way we would have to do it is airdrop pictures to each other or text message pictures back to each
Mhm.
other. For iPhones, since we all use iCloud and Apple Photos, I'll create a shared album and then I'll tell everybody, hey, make sure you
Drop your
upload your
photos in
pictures
there.
to the shared album so everybody can get them. Well, that's just for the iPhone folks, right? For Google Photos people, I don't think they have a way to do that until now, to where they've got this Google Photos product to where you can do exactly that. You can share a link to a photo album and the people can join that link, and it's a shared album. Same thing as that, like I mentioned, iPhone users can do with, creating a shared album, sending out
Hmm.
invites. Google Photos, I think, takes it a step further to where you can actually send out a link. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I have that feature in the Apple Photos to where I can create a link to a shared album. I'll give that a try in a second, but just it's cool to see that Android users now have that ability. Well, let me say not Google Android users specifically, but Google Photos users. If you're at a wedding, at a barbecue, on a family trip, and for a fact other people are taking pictures and you might like their picture better than yours, you can actually say, hey, let me get that, and then they can easily use Google Photos to actually share those pictures to where you can get a better get a better photo album of that particular event wherever you are.
Yeah, and I just went through iPhotos. It doesn't look like you can create a link for them. It just looks like you can just share it via email, um, or
Yeah,
um, or
you can share.
mail or
It
something, or
says you
AirDrop.
can,
Yeah.
so you can share the photos, but it doesn't say how it's sharing them. I think via text message.
Yeah, well, if you click the three dots and then the share photos, it gives you pretty much AirDrop,
Or people that you
mail,
text message.
looks like Google Drive as well, and a
Yeah,
couple of other things,
but
but
it's not
no
create.
actual link you can send to people.
Exactly. All right. All right. So yeah, maybe again the reason why I think that's beneficial and I think it's good that Google is doing that, because hopefully Apple will bite it to where we can do that
We can have
for
it too.
right. Because in my previous life I was doing event technology. Trying to come up with cool ways, event professionals, people who throw in events, conferences can
Hmm.
utilize text messages, technology, right?
Hmm.
So that's when I was heavy into using. One of the ideas I came up with was utilizing a service to where if you're going to a conference and you want to exchange information, you can scan a QR code, put it on the badge, scan the QR code, and it'll give them like a little mini website that gives them all the social media handles.
Hmm.
In my former life, I was doing that. One of the other things I used to do was create those social media walls for conferences to where if you took a picture, use this particular hashtag, it would all go to this screen to where people could see all of the pictures, and all the things that people are tweeting and talking about surrounding
Crowdsourcing
them.
before it was a thing.
Exactly. So, one of the things I used to do, taking that event all the way around the world, to tell this long story, to say I would use that to where I would have events at my house and people would take events like birthday parties, especially for the kids.
Mhm.
I would set the same thing up on my TV. I would, have people, if you take a good picture, send it to this link, and the picture would automatically show up on the television. So fast forward to right now, being able to create a link to where people can eventually immediately take pictures and see those pictures and share those pictures. Definitely a benefit that I hope Apple picks up and implements, in maybe in iOS 15.
Hopefully so.
All right, all right. So the next story we have in second string, seems like everybody had their eyes to the sky as it relates to this quote unquote space race that these billionaires are having. The first person to actually successfully, I guess you could call it space travel. I read
I
a
don't call it.
I read a I read a Facebook post and I had to share it. As somebody said, they said you cannot just the tip space travel. So, so basically, essentially, what Sir Richard Branson and Virgin Galactic did was take himself and a couple other lucky passengers. They connected this plane to another plane, which is connected to these other rocket boosters. They fired off. Then they separated and they went farther to where they went to the utmost edge. And this is just the tip part of the Earth's atmosphere, so high enough to where you can actually get a very good view of space. So that's
Yeah, and they got the whole zero gravity field.
right. They got up there. Right. Again, it wasn't space travel. It was like uttermost Earth's atmospheric travel, but that's as far as anybody has went commercially. So I guess they, got the asterisk as space travel. Like I said, Richard Branson from Virgin Galactic did it first. It looks like Jeff Bezos is trying to get there next, followed by, I know there was Elon Musk. I
Elon
think,
Musk.
yeah, Elon Musk is trying.
Billionaires and their toys.
Right.
And I think some of this, particularly for Virgin Galactic or Galactica, whatever they're calling it, partially I think was funded by public dollars. And I'm like, don't we have NASA already? They're on Mars. I mean, I get the whole aspect of it being commercial. But is it really commercial?
Right.
Because who has $250,000 just laying around to go to the edge of the Earth's atmosphere? And then I think he did a press conference after. It's like, giving everyone access. Everyone who? Your friends? Not everybody is going to be able to do this. And they have like you could win. Any regular everyday person could win a spot to go. And I'm like, no, no, no. It's just a way, another separation of the have and the have nots. And you have all these billionaires, using some public money to go off and do this thing because they're so rich and they've done everything they can do. They have everything they can have. So now they have to go and create this other thing for them to be able to do. And they're putting it under the guise of, we're doing this for humankind. And, it's really about the human nature and, good for all. And I call poppycock. That is not what it's about. It's an ego boost, an ego stroke to see which man with the most money can do something that the other one hasn't.
Right, which is again not uncommon for the human race. Just because we can means we absolutely should for
Right.
the human race. There's never been a time it was like, yeah, maybe let's think on that. I don't think we ever
Yeah.
had a time in our lives where we're like, you know what, let's pump the brakes on that.
Especially when none of these folks pay taxes or pay very little
Right,
taxes.
and there's no real
Benefit.
need to do that. Of again, need and human
Want?
race
Yeah.
never goes, that never
We
goes hand in.
need to have health care for everybody.
Right.
We need to not have homeless people.
But
We need to have food for everybody. But
right. But again, can't watch people's pockets. If that's what they want to do with their money, be blessed, I guess.
yeah.
Maybe this will spur technological advancement. Google has always tried to or played with the idea of trying to blanket the earth with internet. I think even I can't remember if it's Bezos or Elon Musk trying to figure out how to use technology to, create like wireless internet. I don't know how, whether it be, yeah, here it is. It's in the story, actually. Separately, Amazon has also announced plans to create a constellation of internet beaming satellites, much like SpaceX's Starlink. Through Starlink is actually based on ideas were first attempted in 1990. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so it looks like both Amazon and Elon Musk, well, Bezos specifically, and Elon Musk are trying to figure out ways on how we can use the atmosphere, maybe even space, to create better wireless internet. So we're not reduced to, the old aging infrastructure to
Right.
provide, whether it be Ethernet, whether it be cable, fiber optics. That's all underground. That's all
Right.
through, current infrastructure where, if you can just figure out how to connect via satellites or whatever in space.
Launch some satellites in
Right,
space and
that's
have them
open.
ping each other.
Right, that's open space. Right, so maybe all that to say, maybe their pissing contest will actually spur
Breed some
innovation
innovation.
as it relates to internet for all. Because again, like we've all kind of come to the assumption is, internet is not a privilege anymore. It's almost like a right to where, without it, you can't do anything.
Right.
So hopefully, silver lining.
Part of the kind of whole broadband for all deal that I
Right.
think Biden was trying to put into one of his infrastructure deals. Yeah, I mean, I guess
Maybe.
if something positive can come out of this, that would be great. But, when would we, one, be able to see the effects of this? Two,
Right.
you know, can't be naive enough to think that they're doing this all out of, oh, let's help mankind. Oh, I want to do something new. It's money
Right.
because they will own that technology. They will be able to become trillionaires
Right.
probably at that point based off the technology. But if you're putting in the work and you're funding the money, I get it. It's just in the current state of things.
There's much more important things going
There are
on.
much more important things, especially when these folks aren't paying any taxes, that money could be better used somewhere else. Or they're rich enough that they can still do their space funds and have, their contests and still help humanity that's here now on this planet to be able to live a quality life. Maybe that's asking too much, and I'm sure there'll be the people that say, well, they worked so hard for the wealth and riches that they have, the hundreds of billions of dollars that they have. No one should be forcing them to give it up or to share it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
But
that there, when you even mentioned even the phrase redistribution of wealth, that rubs people the wrong way. So they don't want to hear nothing
especially,
that.
and most importantly, those people don't have the wealth to distribute. But why are you going? That's a whole other tangent.
That's a
I'm not
whole
gonna
nother
go down there.
subject right there,
That's a
Jack.
whole other thing. I'm gonna reel back a little bit. Take a deep breath because this type of thing, while I love technology and the idea of people being able to go into space is dope because I mean, I would do it.
Right.
But at the same time, I do recognize where we are as a society and where we are in this current moment with the people that inhabit the space that we're already in. So,
Right. All right. All right. So I think that is it for second string. We'll move into our next segment for the culture where we talk anything social media, whatever is going on out in these social media streets. And I guess I wanted to get your opinion on this next story. So, popular up and coming, well, not even up and coming anymore, mainstream popular rapper, Da Baby. I guess I don't know if he would. It seems like he was going to be philanthropic, and he started. I got one of his goons or whomever started this video of him recording to where he pulls up on these kids, two black kids. They look like they were selling candy or some sort of treats or something. They were fundraising, basically what it looks like. He steps out of his van. I mean, a wide load of cash. And it looks like he's about to buy some candy from them and then some, right? So, he asked them how much it is. I think they mentioned that, $2, whatever it was. And then I think the baby asks him, he says, well, how much for the box? with this wad of money in his hands. And the kids like, yeah, it's Gushers and Skittles. And he said that the box was, I don't know I think he did a combination of, the kid did a combination of, it's $200 for the box. But also I think he mentioned something about, well, typically I make, $200 with fundraising or something like that. And the baby was like, no, how much for the box? And, he asked the other kid, how much for the box? And the other kid was like, $200. And he said, all right, wait a minute. Let's do the math here.
Now he wants to do a math lesson.
He says, all right, wait, hold up. How much a piece for each of these things? And the kid's like $2. And he's like, all right, so let's count them up. If there's 34 in the box and you sell them for $2 a piece, how much is that? So the kids kind of, try to do the math in their head or whatever. And the baby's like, well, it ain't $200. So they come up with, I think the actual the amount was, $68, something like that. So, he said, so the baby says, well, instead of, giving you $68 for the box, which is what I was trying to get at, I'm paraphrasing, I'm just going to buy a bag from each of you. So they ended up selling him a couple bags of candies for, $2 each, was sent up for $400 to $4. And basically he was like, y'all, I was going to bless you anyway. You could have got the $200. Now you just got two. Y'all be good. And closed his van and pulled off. So I guess the question I wanted to ask you is the baby, was he teaching a lesson on greed? Or was this an attempt to embarrass not an attempt, but did it end up as, him embarrassing these kids, for this clout? I guess I just wanted to get your opinion on, because again, like I mentioned, they started recording before he even started talking to the kids. So this seemed like it was going up somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it's social media. So, anything that's recorded will end up on social media anyway. So I guess did he end up embarrassing these kids for the clout, or was this a valuable lesson on greed? I guess I just want to get your input.
So first of all, it's not a valuable lesson on greed, because you have your friends to start rolling this video. You get out of this van with this wad of cash and you ask the kids how much for the box. They aren't going to take the time to add up how much actually is. They just threw out a number because, again, you got a wad of cash in your hand. Are you going to miss it $200? No.
Right.
So we going to say, $200. They probably just thought the first number that popped in their head. It probably was no strategic plan to try and take or swindle the baby out of this money when he said, I was going to bless you anyway. If you were going to bless them anyway,
you should have just blessed them
and went on about your business. But now, because people are calling you out on it, now you have to try and make it some grandiose plan or plot. It was not that. You just look stupid on the internet. So now you're trying to change the game and say you're trying to teach them lesson. You were not. You were trying to flex. You were trying to flaunt. You got all your gold chains on, all your diamonds on. Every video you make, everything you do, you got wads of money up to your ear. Why would these children, who are obviously out here trying to hustle money from candy, why would they say, oh yeah, it's only $68? No, I'm going to go for the gusto and say $200 because you obviously got it.
Right. So I agree with you on most of it. I agree with the fact that he probably was not thinking, I'm going to teach y'all a lesson as it happened. And I'm pretty sure after the fact, he went not double down, but he, his story ended up being, I was teaching him a lesson. I do agree. That, not agree, but I do believe that if he was really trying to teach him a lesson, let me not say that. if he was going to give him the money, he should have just gave him the money regardless. If that was the ultimate goal, he should have gave him the money regardless. Now, where I disagree is what you not going to do is hustle me out of my money. So I think it was just simple mathematics. I think those kids, and I think they were old enough to be able to do that quick math in their head. Now, I agree with you that they got greedy because he came out with that wad of money.
Right.
But what you cannot do is overtly hit me with a, oh, you got it tax, right? Because what you're not about to do, because they do it when the people solicit, they come to my house and they say, oh, well, we were just in the neighborhood and we were helping so-and-so, they give their last name. I was helping the Osborns with their windows in your neighborhood. I just wanted to know while we're here servicing them, can we talk to you? I'm like, no, what you're doing is soliciting. And it's against the rules to solicit. So y'all created a loophole to where you said, okay, well, we were already in the neighborhood helping your neighbors, which is a lie. So we need to come up with this loophole to figure out how to get around saying that we're soliciting you when we know in most subdivisions, in most neighborhoods, it's illegal to solicit. So I'm like, I see what you're trying to do. So instead of you just coming out saying flat out, look, we trying to sell you these windows. I'm going to take it as disrespect because you think I don't know otherwise. So I don't want your little funky windows anyway. So
I think you're matching the baby's energy. He gonna roll up in his sprinter
right.
with his wad of cash, and they was like, "Oh, so this what we doing? Okay, so I'm gonna give you that." I think they were giving that same energy back. Plus, he is from North Carolina. He knows how the water boys. That's what they call them here in Atlanta, because the boys selling water off the off ramps or whatever. He knows what this setup is. He's not stupid.
Right.
He knew when he told, yo, homeboy, start rolling, start recording this. He knew what he was getting himself into.
Right.
So it wasn't as, in your example, you said they came up and solicited you. He went up and solicited them like, what y'all got, what you doing? Making it seem like, you know what, let's kind of do some business thing, because that's what he raps about. He raps about hustling. He raps about getting his money by doing A, B, C, and D. So they get their money by selling candy. And so you gonna pull up in your Sprinter, already recording, already with your wad of cash, flashing it in my face, knowing these kids probably don't have a lot of money. Otherwise, they will not be out in the hot sun on the corner trying to sell this candy. So I get that they definitely were trying to come up.
The eyes got greedy. The eyes got greedy. They saw that money. I don't blame them. I'm not saying I blame the kids, but I try to put myself personally, right? So that was the whole thing with the soliciting. Another thing, I do offer consulting services on the side, right? And most of the times, it doesn't take this whole, let me create a contract, let me bill you for some hours, let's schedule a time to sit down and assess your needs or whatever. Half of the time, people just want to pick my brain, right? So, most of the times people send me text messages, they'll reach out on Facebook or whatever, and they'll ask me a couple questions about Apple this, Apple that, whatever the case may be. Some cases, if you really got some situation you really need help with, most of the cases, yes, I do charge. But every once in a while, if it's like just a quick, hey, brother tech, what do you think about this gadget I need to connect to my phone or whatever? I'll send them a link or whatever, and they'll be like, how much do I owe you? Right? Now I could be like, yeah, $75 an hour, blah, 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 blah. Most of them like, oh, don't worry about it. But if you want to bless a brother, here's my Cash App. And then I'll let them decide if they want to help me out or not. What the problem, the issue I see with these kids was when he asked them how much for the box, what they should have said was, and I think they tried to say it, they just didn't formulate it the right way
because they're children.
Because they're children, But again, I would have said, well, look, $2 a pop is however much in the box, whatever the math is, $68. But since you the baby, you trying to hook a brother up, you give us a donation, and I'm pretty sure I don't know what he would have did, but I think
But he was the one who said, I was going to bless you anyway.
but that was
So
him.
that's the
That
caveat
was
to
him
me.
trying. I think that was, like you said, that was him trying to flex. That was him being who he is and trying to, not necessarily one up, but he was trying to, flex on these kids. I get that part 100%.
Why are you trying to flex on children?
I don't know
I digress.
yeah. I mean, I don't get that whole point, but I guess if he wasn't trying to teach them a lesson, I
Which he
guess the
wasn't.
value, yeah, which he wasn't. I think the valuable lesson for the kids, your price is your price.
Mm-hmm.
Deliver, and then if you want to ask for more on top of that, then say, okay, well, I did this and that and third, I went above and beyond, blah 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 blah, and then let them decide if they're going to bless you more. What they did was they tried to rich tax him and analyze, saw who he
What he was
was and what
presenting.
he was presenting and say, oh, I'm gonna mark up the price. I don't know anybody on this earth who, same thing with black folks in tipping, right? I don't know anybody who wants to be profiled, and then automatically, okay, well, I'm gonna charge you this rate because of this,
Mm-hmm.
but these other people I'm gonna charge them rates. No, let the price be the price, and then say, look, if you want to help me out, do whatever. I think that was their mistake. So I
And
could
if he
see,
was going to teach the lesson, that should have been the
right,
lesson that he gave them.
right. Let the
And if he wanted to give them the $200
He
anyway,
should have just
or
gave
say,
it to
you
him
know what,
anyway.
I'm giving you the $100 and bless you anyway. Take this as a lesson. I hope you go and buy some more candy or whatever, and then flip it. He could have done
That anyway,
anyway.
right.
He could have done that anyway. And the lesson could have been was, this candy is only $68. When I'm giving this $200 and I want you to go and flip it and make even more.
Or
Simple,
give them the
straight.
money anyway and say, look, don't the price is the price, and
Yeah.
then figure out a way to try to provide more of a service to get more money. Just don't try to upcharge people just because. But then again, like you said, give them the money and then teach them the lesson.
And he was trying to flex. That's why he got out of the car with that wad of cash. And I don't know what children who I don't want to, put on these kids where they're from, what their background is, what money they have, what money they don't. But I don't know very many preteen, teen children who see a rapper who they probably love, probably idolize, getting out with this wad of money, who's not going to shoot their shot to try and say,
Right.
since you out here
I
with this wad of money, what you go do, that type of thing.
Yeah, I
So,
get it. I get it. I get it. Again, but you shoot your shot. If it don't work, I guess it don't work.
and the thing is, I don't think they were bothered that it didn't work. It's just the fact that he recorded this and put it on social media thinking that was going to make him look good.
Right.
No, bro, that does not make
Or
you look good.
what he should not have backtracked, because this is what another thing that I hate people, not hate, bothers me about social media, and especially video, or just social media in general. Be who you are on
Mm-hmm.
social media. Quit doubling down, or not quit changing the story. Don't alter the facts based on the perception, based on the
Mm-hmm.
reception of whatever you put out there, and say, oh, well, what I was really trying to do is, no, be who you are on social
Mm-hmm.
media. Don't let people, especially for celebrities, it can go both ways too. I have a problem with celebrities who, anytime they say anything as a retort to somebody saying something negative to them, and they may say something negative back, or, don't turn the other cheek or just ignore them. Everybody gives
Mm-hmm.
them flack because of that, right?
Right.
Well, you should, you are a celebrity. You should just ignore what people say to you. No, be who you are. If somebody has a problem with you, you should have a problem
Stand
back.
up in it.
Right, right. But then also, what people do is they'll put out something thinking they are, well, I'm returning fire, or I'm giving out this hot take, and then it was not received well. Then you want to, like you said in the baby's case, you want to try to change the narrative. No, you said what you said. This is what
Stand
I
up in it.
am. This is what I stand on. Double down if you need be, but don't feel I don't like social media to where everybody's trying to dictate how people should live their lives based on their own lenses, and I think
Right.
I have a problem with that as well. So
And it kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier with Twitter and them, changing, going back later, allowing you to, only allow certain people to speak based on the feedback that you're getting from your comment. It's the same thing in this case. It's just, video and kind of real time, but it's the perception. He thought he was doing something cool that
Right.
was going
Or
to have people
funny.
on his side or
Right.
funny, which he did, because there are people in the comments, how y'all going to try and do this because he's trying to. Shut up. You don't even mean that. You
Right.
don't even mean that. But it's just the thing of, oh, this didn't go how I thought it was. So
Right.
now I need to try and flip it and make myself look better. Because
Right.
right now I'm out here looking stupid.
Yeah, yeah. Stand in it. Stand in it.
Stand in it.
The good thing, the silver lining is we'll be talking about something else next week, and we
Yeah.
totally forgot about this.
Honestly, in a couple days, by the time this show airs, we won't even be thinking about this.
Right.
It'll probably be on. Someone else would have done something else that has the internet streets talking. So
Right. All right. All right. So that is it for the culture. Let's move into the hookup. And for this week, anybody that's on an iPhone and they use Safari and they are complaining that the internet is taking too long to load, pages taking too long, to load. If you're trying to buy, one of the things that I do that I always fail at is trying to buy sneakers online. So one of the ways I was trying to figure out how to make my internet go faster on my phone is one of the things you can do is clear your Safari cache. So that's my hookup for the week. If you want to pages to load faster, definitely you need to go into Safari and clear your Safari caches. The way you do that is open up the settings app, go down and select Safari, and then scroll down and select clear history and website data. It's going to ask you, are you sure? You click the button again, and it won't look like anything's changed. But a key to where you can go test is if you open up Safari and then go look at your search history, it'll be clear. So that'll give you the indication that you have indeed cleared your Safari cache for faster iPhone browsing. So that is my hookup for the week. Nica, if you don't have anything else, I
nope.
think that concludes this episode of the Snob OS Show. I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for all your support. If you do want to support, one of the main ways to show your support is download, rate, and review the show. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, and we're on Spotify. If you want to reach out to us on social media, you can do so on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at SnobOScast on social media. You can watch us on YouTube. If you're going to watch us on YouTube, we're at SnobOScast. The way to show us some love over there is like, subscribe, and leave us a comment on the YouTube channel. That would boost up our ratings a little bit over there. You can reach out to us on the web. We are at snoboscast.com. If you want to go to the website, leave us a comment. Or you want to shoot us an email, we're at snoboscast@gmail.com. For real, if you want to show us some support, you can drop some dollars our way by becoming a supporter on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You get access to the live chat, you get access to our pre-show, and you get access to the show earlier than everybody else for as little as $5 a month. If you go to patreon.com/snoboscast, you can give us a $5 monthly donation that way. If you just want to give us a hat tip for a particular show or just a one-time donation, you can do so by going to paypal.me/snobos, and you can give us a love offering that way. And like I said, I think that is it for the show. So until this next week, we are out. Peace.
Bye.